Howdy there, internet people. This is Michael at 3D Print Everything, and this is the ProMega video part 3. So to catch you up, if this is the first time you're watching this one, go back, watch the first two. But this is the third time I'm doing a video on it. I had this printer for about 5 days now, and someone had dropped it off for free. They just gave it to me, so I didn't purchase it. So I've got a pretty unbiased opinion of it. I don't feel like I've lost money on it yet like a lot of other people have, but I wanted to talk about this further. And the first two videos were kind of just reviewing it at face value and seeing what parts it was made up of. And now we're starting to get into some of the issues now that I'm actually trying to use it. And I think this might be the world's most hated printer. I haven't really found much positive on the internet with these. If I had done my due diligence and read up on this printer before this guy dropped it off free, just the amount of hate online might have convinced me not to even get it. So just be prepared there that if you're finding this video because you see someone selling a expensive looking printer for a couple $100, the hassle might not be worth it. I'm still determining that entirely on if it's worth it or not, but we'll go over one of the first things here. So I just took this fan shroud off, and just to be clear too, I don't really know what the stock form of this was. I'm assuming that it's still in its stock form, but for all I know, this could be a different design, or something else could be a different design. I think this company, after so many deliveries, started delivering with other upgrades to it. So yeah, there's that. Now, the issue that I'm having currently is it keeps on stop extruding. It's like it's either heat creeping, or maybe this PTFE tube is damaged. So I'm going to just take these off. I put these heat sinks on there hoping that they would help with the heat creep, but it doesn't seem to have helped. I managed to get one small print out of this, one like hour-long print, and I tried to do an endurance print, and it just did not work. Let's go ahead and remove the filament. So yeah, that switch is on. We got a second switch over here. We'll turn that on, and while that starts warming up, I'm going to show you the Facebook group so you can get an idea of what I mean. So let's see here. Wrong page. This one will work. Facebook. And we will type in ProMega Printer Group. Okay, so I think this Richard Casey guy is the one who started it, or ran it, or at least moderated, because this is from 2018, and I guess that's when they started shipping. So I think it's like a 5-6-year-old printer that started shipping, what is that, 4 years ago or something like that. So I just did a post, and apparently they've done this Shadow Mega support group, which I think is... yeah, it's a complete redesign of the printer. So if I want to redesign the printer, I can go there. Looks like Todd Guy is an admin. And yeah, this is the first post that I saw when coming to this group. The end of my ProMega. So we can see, it's just all bent to hell, missing and broken parts. Looks like he threw a car part or something in there. Otherwise, looks like it was probably in one piece, but he just really kicked the hell out of that thing. Yeah, like, let's look at these comments. Straight up coffee spaced it. Haven't given up on my my Pro yet, but there's my Tron XY X5SA. I had one of those for a little bit. This guy had a different fate, so we can see he completely redesigned it. Mine's still running with only a few mods. It would have been nice if it was better. Plans to do the Shegamator. Case is probably still more square than mine is. Mine's about to go on the shelf to gather dust. Mine made it to the garage. Bought a Creality E3S1. Amazing how nice it is to print. Agreed. I love that about my Shadow Mega, so he redid it. I just got tired of all the money and time spent one thing after the other not working. I'm sure you're remaking the printer in its entirety after paying huge money has worked out really well. You've done a great job building a printer out of an aluminum box, and we were all sold. What yours ended up being is what we all should have had to start with. Fully agree, the ProMega should have been what the Shadow Mega Rad is now. We were willing to work with M3D to make the necessary changes, but any suggestion proposed was answered by Marmadonkey with, that will cost me 10 grand not doing that. Yeah, someone else smashing a printer. Too bad they are trash unless you have lots of time to play. I was able to print with mine 2 or 3 times and that's it. I put considerable work and money into it and it's absolutely junk. Poor motors, weak belts, even the printed parts provided are like pressed together earth. I have installed countless improvements, upgrades, spent lots of time and effort, but alas, it's undeniably crap. M3D should no longer exist because of this false advertising as some sort of printer. I've gotten mine to work. After replacing the entire hot end assembly, build plates, all belts, up the power to the drive motors, etc., etc. At the end of the day, it will skip steps randomly. It's noisy because all the bearings are junk. It will absolutely not have a level bed, no matter what. Amazing that after all this, it still won't do consistent prints, but even cheap printers work perfect upon assembly. I mean, that right there just tells you the King Rune KP3S is king every single time, and at a fraction of the cost. Me too. M3D should be ashamed. Their best product is their filament. This company doesn't exist anymore, so if you're wondering, they are out of business. And yes, in short of a complete redesign, you will just run into the next issue where they cut corners to save a couple of cents. And now with their redesign, it's a great printer, and it's what we had expected it to be, but M3C should have delivered that, not the community. Man, what a waste of working components. Too bad I'm not close enough to rescue it. So at least one comment in there was like, I would like that. I hate the bottom Z calibration. Anyone using BL Touch? Yes, it works great. Biggest mod you can make is install an optical end stop that will eliminate the inaccuracies of a switch. Some stuff like that. I have a ProMega for sale. What's it worth? Might be a little far and it's a dream. Shipping is so expensive, so they never even worked a deal because shipping would be more than what the printer's worth. Let's see. So this is still April, so yeah. So some people still having issues here, not completely trashing it. That one post was really, really trashing it. Just set up my Kickstarter. What upgrades do you recommend? Full rebuild. This guy, I mean, everyone. Too bad I don't ship 80-pound items. You don't live in Colorado. Gosh dang, that dude's gonna ship 80 pounds of stuff to rebuild that. Just buying 80 pounds of 3D printer parts is gonna cost a pretty penny. So that guy, they're not even helping this guy. Search YouTube, Thingiverse, Facebook, got Shadow Mega. So they're not even willing to provide a link. Like if someone said, hey, I'd like a breakdown, and it's on YouTube, Thingiverse, or Facebook, this guy could have sent like one link right here, and it would have been helpful. So this community is clearly not helpful, but they all are pretty butthurt about this. Over time, I've accumulated various spools from my ProMega, each having the 3-letter cheat code initially intended for auto setup. A breakout chart, can't get manufacturer specs, no heating settings, that is controlled by tinny geometry on the heat board. So only extrusion temp, as the micro is dead and obsolete, empty. I suggest printing a new temp tower. Those filaments are old and wet anyways. But better than paying for it. My 2 micros have both died because SMD chip blowing up so badly that I can't read the type, so I dumped them. I'm not even sure what an SMD chip is. The high torque, I'm talking about ones that put out after people discovering the ones that came out that were no good. Currently I'm using, I think I would try, I want to say 800. Yeah, so I mean, the ProMega was a 6.1 shipped, and it still is going with very few mods. It has extra torque motors, modified fan shroud, and the Z Pro. My biggest success started after I stopped using the bed level mesh probe, set it all to 0. I think having the mesh actually messes up most prints because there's a bug in the code which uses the mesh incorrectly. That's hilarious. I wonder if quality dropped over time. My ProMega with the same mods actually worked great, but the extruder clogged a lot. My bed was never flat, and over time I wanted to use more exotic filaments. I'm still up for now. When it finally comes down, I'll have a scrapped version. Could not find info specs on the Torx. Yeah, it's just, I mean, like, here's someone just advertising this. Yeah, here's a Franken build. So it looks like you either stuck through the printer, and yeah, I mean, there's no, like, what is this? Somebody just posting junk, and the admins don't care. So I mean, even this, they're saying, hey, welcome new people, but they're not taking out stuff. And look, so if I remember right, I think these guys spent more than $2,000 on this printer from Kickstarter, and I'm sorry to anybody who's done that. Yeah, everyone's just saying in its original form it doesn't have much value. Yeah, like I was reading another one down here that they were like, we wouldn't even pay $200 for it. So, and a couple people have mentioned in here, Rad's upgrades, nice prints, fishing spent about an hour removing support. How do you remove all the blood stains from white PETG? Like you do off carpets bleach or hydrogen peroxide? Use some tools, don't remove supports with your hands. Oh man, power loss. I replaced the power supply continuously after losing connection, as suggested. The new one is constant and still getting an error message about it. I guess this guy's still trying to help people out, but I don't know. He might just be the Rad Z is finished. I guess this Marcel guy did the Rad Z, so he finished this in December and modded it up. Looks like, yeah, redid it all, the lead screws, and got a good print out of it. I mean, some people are doing some good with it, but you know, I had run down here before, and there was more hate. You got to go a little bit further down, but yeah, still can't get it working. A variety of issues. Yeah, I think Marcel is right. The M3D, the